Hello, I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. It is before 5 o'clock. Can you believe we're doing these sunset chats so early for our weekly Sunday sunset live chat? At WashingtonPost.com/weather, you'll find our PM update at the top, our coverage on a warm Veterans Day that's indeed going to feature the start of some of our work weeks, and then it cools off into seasonably chilly, a little below average for most of the week, but I think we get back up toward average by Friday, if not Saturday by the weekend or so. Rain is moving into the region, the other big story, finally breaking our dry streak. So hopefully we can get some measurable rain at DC. It's been a record 38 days, if I am counting right. We've been covering that at WashingtonPost.com/weather. And I think I had a link to our story and my PM update there at the top. And forecast at a glance, again showing a very mild, warm start to the week, low to mid 70s for Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day tomorrow. And then we cool off seasonally a little below average for most of the week, 50s dominating the picture, and then 60s again by the end of the week, maybe holding off until Saturday. All right, so other than radar, we've got the temperature slideshow here for you to show you kind of our warm starts, kind of a 1 day deal tomorrow with low to mid 70s. And then we cool off into 50s, maybe getting to 60 again by Friday, if not Saturday. Thanks so much for tuning in on our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A chat. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang live on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Good evening, David and Patty. Yay, rain indeed. Hello, Charlene. Hi, Ruth Elisa. Ruth Lisa, only some soggy times tonight, maybe early tomorrow morning. I think we get the clouds out of the picture by mid, maybe late morning at the latest. Happy Sunday to you, Kristen. But the only other rain chance this week might be Thursday, and it's looking pretty light. It's transitioning from our warmth on Monday with gusts maybe around 25 miles per hour one or two times tomorrow. Maybe even a little higher at higher elevations in the mountains to our west of DC, but we are going to be transitioning to kind of a more seasonally chilly time Tuesday onward for this week. Then maybe after the wind calms down a little bit, we start talking about our next chance for precipitation. Monday and Thursday are the days we're watching. I think most of our hopes are pegged on at least a tenth of an inch tonight, if not a third of an inch for most of us. Luckiest spots could see a half inch of rain, and then maybe a tenth of an inch additional on Thursday. The next 7 day rain, the rain accumulation map is below, and I wish I could report better news. It's better than zero. Most of us get a quarter to a third of an inch in the next 7 days, and the majority of this rain falls tonight for the next 7 days. So we do have drought moving into our region that we're watching. So we'll check on that in just a second. But at least the good news is, as our days get shorter and you join me before 5 o'clock for during our earliest sunsets of the year for the next couple months, 3 months or so, we will be talking before 5 p.m. on Sundays. At least clouds are behaving themselves during daytime hours. We have lots of sunshine for the most part, clearing out, steadily, slowly and steadily tomorrow morning. Unclear like how quickly we see some sunshine, but midday into the afternoon promises to be pretty darn sunny tomorrow, if not earlier into the morning. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty sunny. I think Thursday is our cloudiest day with those little uptick in rain chances, which hopefully we can get a little bit more rain. And then Friday should have a mix of sun and clouds, but overall filtered sunshine is better than no sunshine, I say. And that's some great news. And I covered more details on this in my PM updates on our blog at the Capital Weather Gang at WashingtonPost.com/weather. And then pollen, of course, still here thanks to later and later frosts, ever growing growing season. It's getting longer and longer thanks to human caused global climate change warming. We've got, just allergies, not too bad right now, but still can't quite, call the end of it this year. I know my fellow allergy sufferers are feeling, generally okay, but we still get those surprises, right? Where it's still like a little bit allergic at times. And going with that, while there are still some allergens in the air, we still have some color in the region. So things aren't completely dormant yet for the winter. Still some color around along the I-95 corridor, and particularly parts east of I-95 should have some peak color more often than not, in more spots than not. So please enjoy the color while we have it. All right, so the National Hurricane Center has just made Rafael in the Gulf of Mexico a post-tropical cyclone, and also declared pretty much the low pressure system near the Bahamas has dissipated. So It looks like with our drought expanding into the second level drought, the middle of the drought spectrum now declared for just south of DC, it's expanding into Virginia, some very serious drought. We can't depend on tropical moisture to help us out in the coming weeks. It looks like, small chance something could, maybe a subtropical system in the next month comes our way, but it's not in the cards right now. So just connecting the dots that tropical moisture looks to be out to quell our drought in the area. So we'll have to keep an eye on. Hopefully these fronts become a little moister. I do have good news though. At least the atmosphere next work week, looking out 8 to 14 days, it's leaning above average for precipitation and also a heavier lean above average for temperatures as well. Kristen, happy Sunday. Mild weather, Ruth Elisa, just on Monday is what's expected. Let's go back to my PM update here at the top. Forecast at a glance just above me, showing a very warm Veterans Day tomorrow. And radar is, happily getting populated with some rain tonight. Hopefully we can end our record dry streak of 38 days straight without rain in DC. And here's the temperature slideshow indicating Monday is warm in the low to mid 70s, and then that's it for warmth for the time being. 50s generally dominate this work week. Hi, Peter and Eloise. And Lisa, hoodie weather comes along middle part of this week with 50s. Brianna, good to see you on YouTube. And Eric, good to see you on YouTube. I hope you get a little bit more there in the valley this evening. That's a tiny good start to getting some rain there in the valley. Uh, MBM on YouTube, I appreciate the weekly updates for seeing you every week. This is great. And we are before 5 o'clock for the next 2-3 months, getting earlier and earlier. I think the earliest sunset in DC is 4:46 p.m. thereabouts. I don't think we quite get to 4:45, so we're only a few more minutes to shave off earlier and earlier for these Sunday sunset chats. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. Anytime you need us, we're at WashingtonPost.com/weather. Dawn, for snow, it's not in the cards anytime soon. I'm gonna hopefully I like some snow, maybe December. We'll see. We'll give you our December outlook as we get closer toward that month. And hello, Robin. Glad you made some golf today. And yeah, the bugs are still out. It is crazy. I agree. And Mary, good to see you there on Facebook. Thanks so much for tuning in. Mejo and Tara and Abby, good to see you. H squared, good to see you in Alexandria. Thanks for tuning in from Instagram. We do need rain. Glad you like the hat. ACFD, thanks for tuning in on Instagram as well. Kedando and Ari. Let's see if I have any other questions and comments on Instagram. Blue Man, Dave, not before 5 p.m. Indeed. Ugh, we have these early sunsets to contend with for the time being. But that is why I am very happy to report it's a generally sunny week. We've got precipitation animated above me, mainly tonight, and then again Thursday are the main rain chances this week, and even Thursday could peter out. We'll see. We'll see. But daytime hours for the shortened, some of the shortest days of the year, early sunsets of the year. I want to maximize that daylight for you, right? So I was happy to find lots of sunshine this week. The white and light gray are very generally clear skies. The blue are the clouds. Those generally only pester us during the daytime on Thursday, it looks like, as we see our next rain chances arrive, potentially on Thursday. So some of this is nighttime cloud cover, but a lot of the days have at least filtered sunshine and more sun often than not. All right. All right. So Raw, thanks for tuning in. Blue Man and Imka and Ifra. Hey T Fresh 83, good to see you on Instagram. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good to see you. All right. And we've got Original Matt, Elfie and Catherine and Jackie and Britt and Dallas. Good to see you. And hi Sonali. Good to see you on Facebook. Mary, most of the region has had the first frost. Let me know if you have not. Typically, let's see if I still have that down here. Typical first frosts are around, this part of the year, if not a little earlier. And typical first freeze is right here, generally November in the yellows, but we've had most of our frost and freeze advisories already issued for the year. The growing season is, I think, been declared over for the vast majority of the season, perhaps maybe down in the Tidewater, still waiting on kind of more widespread counties that have not seen frost and freezes. So Mary, you haven't had one in Gaithersburg. That's great. If it has just been maybe a light, tiny frost there and not a full freeze, most of us have had a deep freeze in the 20s. for this point in the year. So, there is a difference between frost and freeze advisories, and this was the last one we had, I think, a couple weeks ago. Where generally we ran kind of ahead of schedule there at the last second. We were kind of running maybe a little behind, and then we jumped ahead on some of these frost and freezes in the region. All right, good to see you, Perpetual, Amanda, and Aola Bird, and Potomac, and Christine, and Kale, and Bikamoko. Good to see you on Instagram, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Let me know how you all are doing this evening. I'm on the air another 10 minutes. My name is Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A chat. Anytime you need the Capital Weather Gang, we're at WashingtonPost.com/weather. And David says, let's go rain. Indeed, it's moving in the region. Let's cheer it on. Let's give some fireworks. Whatever I can set off here with my gestures. There we go. We've got some rain, finally able to break our 38-day streak. 38 days straight of no measurable rain at DCA airports. This should break the streak tonight. So we won't get to our full 39th day today. All right. We've got uh, let's see, Steve, hello in Culpeper, seeing some light showers. And it sounds like another spot that may have avoided a very hard freeze, and patience and other flowers are still growing. That's great news. So that does sound like frost potentially happened, but not a deep freeze, like 28 degrees or lower for more than an hour. That's excellent. And Mary has been waiting to cut back her flowers and do some pruning. So it sounds like if the National Weather Service is paying attention to your comments, hopefully we still are issued some frost advisories and freeze warnings if and when those become needed. Maybe next work week, maybe. That's great if some of you still have a couple things growing. All right, good. Yep, Mary. The air is fairly dry, but we've had a little bit of humidity coming in tonight. Just a hint, maybe a couple spots see a dew point near 60, and I think moisturizer might be needed in our area the middle part of this week with our dew points getting lower as well. Cloudy, Shell, HC, Cough, and Bullock and E. Sullivan and Pratt Craig. Thanks so much for tuning in on Instagram, and Candace. Good to see you as well. And we've got social worker on X. Geraniums are still blooming there in Hyattsville. Excellent. Very good. So we want this rain to move in tonight to end our 38-day streak without rain. Maybe another rain chance on Thursday. Temperatures are very pleasant tomorrow. A tinge of humidity, I would argue, in the early morning hours while we still have maybe some clouds, a couple showers to clear out in the early morning. But it does get pretty sunny. Pretty beautiful tomorrow. Low to mid 70s for Veterans Day. That's excellent. But 50s dominate the rest of the work week. Maybe we see 60 again as early as Friday, if not Saturday, I think at the latest. And our transition does blow in tomorrow. The air does dry out, so even if the temperatures are boosted by kind of some downsloping, some winds coming off of the higher elevations to DC's west, from DC's west to our lower elevations around DC and points east. This kind of compresses and warms the air off of the mountains as it moves to a lower, heavier, like low elevation, right? And temperatures are boosted by this perfect wind trajectory off the mountains and sinks into our area, kind of warming us a little bit more than we would normally expect. And soils are also pretty dry, so low to mid 70s is my point. We could be pretty darn warm tomorrow. Nowhere near a record as we've seen recently, but enjoy it. Be a little blustery at times, a couple of gusts near 25 miles per hour, but low to mid 70s aren't bad. And then 50s for the rest of the week. It is definitely a transition day tomorrow, even if it doesn't quite feel like it. All right, let's take off my PM update there and show you. The precipitation pattern this week is kind of focused on tonight and early, very early tomorrow for our first rain chance. Second rain chance should hopefully happen Thursday, fingers crossed. The majority of our rain over the next 7 days in this accumulation map for the next week, it really is looking like it's going to focus on tonight. Like most, if we're betting people, if we're gonna, put some money in the game here, I would put my money on tonight and early tomorrow morning as the majority of our accumulation of maybe a quarter to a third of an inch for the region in the next week, maybe another tenth of an inch for Thursday. But so far, it's giving us some signs that might want to fizzle on Thursday. We'll see. There's still time for that to change. And then clouds this week. Happy to report during daytime hours, with the exception of Thursday. It's pretty darn sunny this week to really help us transition to these early sunsets, these shorter days. But yeah, the early sunsets before 5, it's going to take us some time to get used to that. So let's try and enjoy some sunshine this week, even if it's some filtered sunshine at times, as might be the case a little bit Wednesday, a little bit Friday. But overall, I think you're going to feel like you got enough, rays of sunshine in your eyeballs by the end of this week. That is the good news. Ginger, thanks for tuning in. Amy, Adam, Katri, Life, and Maga, Mama, and Kyo, and Penwax, and Jermos, and Wordsfire, and Lewin. Thanks so much for tuning in on Instagram, MDDC Real Estate, and Gekwan and Squilly. Thanks so much for seeing me on Instagram. I'm also on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, all four of our social media channels. Hi there, Chris on Facebook. And Radar finally filling in Alan. Indeed, let's go check that out. It is exciting to see Radar right here finally filling in. Hopefully, should break our 38-day streak without rain. Can you believe it's been this dry in DC? 38 days without rain. Finally ending that tonight. It looks like. Steve is seeing some light showers in Culpeper. That's great. And Alan, I do hope you see some rain there in Olney. And Daniel and I like and Mama Rose and Evos and AP Moy and Rob and Sean and Dominic. Good to see you very much. And Mary is indeed noticing the winds are kicking up as we are expecting to see tomorrow. Even wind gusts around 25 miles per hour cannot be ruled out. It's a transition day. The cold front has moved through, but there's cold air lagging behind the cold front, so we should still see low to mid 70s, benefiting from the westerly wind trajectory off the mountains as it comes from high elevations and sinks to our lower elevation around DC and the Virginia Tidewater. It should it should heat up, compress itself, and warm us all into the low to mid 70s. I think around 70 to mid 70s for most of the region tomorrow. So enjoy it. It'll be blustery, so you'll know a cold front has come through. Dew points will come down from maybe near 60 degrees in one or two spots early in the morning, a tinge of humidity. It's a drier, I think, 40s by the end of the day. It looks fairly likely on the dew point side of things. And here are the temperature animations: 70s tomorrow, and then we cool pretty well, dominating 50s for the remainder of the week. Maybe 60 again Friday, maybe no later than Saturday. I think we should see 60 again. So let's look at precipitation. Again, focused on tonight. That's kind of maybe our main rain chance over the next 7 days. Hopefully, again, Thursday we see maybe another tenth of an inch, but you can see moderate amounts at best. Next 7 day rain accumulation amounts of a quarter to maybe a third of an inch, half inch in the luckiest of spots, kind of in the blues. So we need it. We need every little bit of rain we can get. Shorter days and early sunsets before 5 o'clock mean I want to highlight lots of sunshine this week, with the exception of Thursday. But daytime cloud cover should generally behave itself, even if we take a short minute to clear out tomorrow morning. Allergy sufferers have been a little surprised, right? Some of you are even reporting, though, you haven't had hard freezes, even in the Piedmont part of, like, the middle part of our region, with the moderate elevations where I thought there had been widespread frost and freezes. So no surprise, perhaps we'd have just a little bit of weed pollen, tree pollen. I don't think weeds were counted properly in this latest reading, but allergens are a little bit across the board. Nothing major, but it is including, later frosts. Under climate change, we have longer growing seasons. That means longer allergy seasons as well. So a little bit of good news that maybe we've prolonged our color season. Have you noticed the colors have been pretty decent this year? So along and east of I-95, we still have some peak colors to speak about more often than not. So growing season goes together, allergies, fall foliage. You see how I'm trying to draw those three themes together. So we're not dormant yet for the winter. And speaking of dormant, the Atlantic is trying to go to sleep. We have Raphael just being declared a post-tropical cyclone by the National Hurricane Center, and the low pressure system near the Bahamas has essentially been declared dissipated, near 0% chance of developing over the next 7 days. So while that's good news for folks on the coast, no tropical systems look to be threatening over the next week. That does eliminate the potential for tropical moisture to help alleviate our droughts in the mid-Atlantic. We are seeing an expansion of the second level drought, D2, severe drought, in parts of Virginia and the Tidewater just south of DC and southern Maryland as well. So we do need the rain. Luckily, we're going to get, hopefully, a third, maybe a half inch of rain in the lucky spots over the next week. But we need more, and I'll continue the good news theme that leaning above average probability wise for precipitation next work week overall. So hopefully we can get some more shower instances in here and a decent, better chance, leaning even more heavily above average probabilities for above average temperatures next work week as well. But keep in mind, orange on the map doesn't mean, 70s and 80s necessarily this time of year with our averages sinking, 60 and lower fairly quickly into November. We, we think above average is really less and less warm per se, doesn't necessarily feel warm. So just keep that in mind. All right, I think that is about all from me. I'm Camden Walker, about to sign off for the WashingtonPost.com/weather team for the Capital Weather Gang. I'm Camden Walker for our Sunday Sunset Live Q&A. Rain celebrations. They're seeing some raindrops in many of your reports throughout the region. So we've got like the end finally to our record 38 days of dryness. We have seen this record dry streak of without rain at DC Airport finally coming to a close. I know we need to wait just a moment to make sure the rain gauge measures at least a 100th of an inch of rain, but I think we'll get there. I have some confidence. And then our next rain chance is Thursday. Temperature wise, starts warm tomorrow for the work week. Even if it's a holiday, happy Veterans Day. Some of us do have to work, but it cools down quickly, back even a little below average into the 50s for most, if not all, of the week. Gina and Julio, thanks for tuning in. Pete Sullivan, JF Beths, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. AMR Shaden, ML Good, Alyssa, JM Hall. All right, Linda, thank you so much. And Roadmapper and Mama Rose, good to see you as well. Thank you, thank you. And Bijan Halpern and Ruth Lisa, you have a good week. And let's see, Weevil, thanks so much for tuning in from YouTube and MBM. And yeah, I'm glad Karen is reporting some drizzle in Kensington and social worker on X. You're most welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Veterans Day to you, Ruth Lisa, as well. I will see you next Sunday before 5 p.m. going forward into the winter months. I'm Camden Walker signing off. Anytime you need us, we're WashingtonPost.com/weather. Try to have a good week and enjoy the warmth, even